pictures that's floating around the internet is of a man named James Riley. Now, for those who don't know who James Riley is, James Riley runs a farm out in Oak Glen, California, Riley's Farm. It's fairly locally famous, and they have a lot of reenactments and things there. Civil War, Revolutionary War, which is, of course, a little weird because none of those things took place in Oak Glen, California, in the slightest. But he considers himself to be an extreme patriot. Mr. James Riley was at the D.C. riots taking pictures and selfies of himself on the Capitol steps and in the Capitol building, and he's now under investigation. Mr. James Riley, before that, used to have school field trips out to Riley's farm to do reenactments, and believe it or not, the quality of them was quite good. I know people who've been involved. And then, of course, he blew it by going on a right-wing, basically racist rampage throughout the Twitterverse and Facebook and what have you, and the LA Unified School District and the Riverside School District and what have you have basically pulled the plug on reenactments at Riley's Farm. So this guy is a pretty right-wing, very, very much supporter of this sort of politics. He is also one of the biggest backers of the Recall Newsom campaign.
There's a lot of them.
Right, but this guy, as an example, this guy James Riley is one of their $10,000 donors. He's on their big list.
What does that have to do with? I'm sorry.
Well, what it has to do with is basically what we see in California is an attempt. It's also basically the Recall Newsom campaign is put on basically by the PAC that supports Cox from the last election. We need to be careful about who we work with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we have to ask ourselves the questions before we work with them. It's like, and Marcus, I know that the media on this is very good. There's a lot of it. It's a question of whether we have to find out, are these people involved in the Recall Newsom campaign basically the same people who are involved in the DC in this DC riot? And a lot of this seems to be yes.